Alright guys, the last patch is finally out. The game has been out for 5 days now, which is more than enough time to understand the entire tier list for the game. Now I'm gonna have to mix this up a bit because no one cares about which characters are in mid tier. We talked about this before. People only care about the characters that are at the top and the characters at the bottom. So we're gonna name these categories in an interesting way. So first, bottom 5. And you guys can start your guessing, okay? Moving down. And these are characters that used to be high and they're moving down probably a notch. Every character I'll be very specific, so don't worry. Then we have moving up, greatly moving up. And then we're gonna get a little interesting here. Top 3. And then you guys are probably wondering, top 3, but then what's this? And then we're gonna make an interesting thing. I'm gonna call this one Luke tier. And I'm not gonna spoil who I'm gonna put here. So we're gonna kind of mix and match this. So let's begin with one character in top 3. Top 3, I'm gonna put Bison. Already a really good character, super top tier, and he barely got any nerfs. If you think about all the top tiers this season, he got away with a scratch. Not only did he get away with a scratch, there is all this cool new stuff that they gave him for his V-Trigger 1. If you guys have been seeing the tech, it is madness. And Bison already has 2 amazing V-Triggers. Gotta make the back on dark so the video shows the chat. Oh no, yeah. This is a character that I was like, how good is he now? I'm gonna put up Cage on the greatly moving up. Cage was one of the worst Shotos, easily. He was so bad that when he was first released, he had the lowest win rate in Street Fighter V history. If you want to like de-rank your account by like 3 ranks, you know, learn Cage. That's how bad it was. He was a meme. And he had such low health to justify his tools and is such poor neutral. And they gave him the Ryu treatment this season. They buffed literally everything. All of his normals, his specials. And I'm still not quite sure where to put him because I'm like, man, you know, is he like insane good? Because he still has some big weaknesses that the other characters up here, like I said, I don't want to spoil Luke here, that they just simply don't have. This is like an unknown one for me too, is Necalli. Necalli has always been a pretty good character all the way through, but no one plays this character anymore, man. So it's impossible to tell. You know, I wouldn't put him greatly moving up because I don't see if there's anything. Necalli has a lot of tools, but there's nothing about him cheap enough. So keep in mind when I put anyone here in greatly moving up or moving up, guys, I don't necessarily mean the top tier. I just mean they're moving up. Anyways, moving down. I mean, this is a super easy one. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean Cammy's low tier. I'm just saying she's moving down. I'm sure Cammy's still a pretty good character, but damn, they seriously went after her hard, man. That health and stun, like we just played this Warlord Cammy today, and we literally almost killed him in 2 hits. Like, it was nuts, bro. And on top of that, like, they literally nerfed all of her key normals, the heavy punch, the crouching medium kick, and on top of, and the standing medium kick. The final nail in the coffin was that heavy kick spiral arrow nerf. If you guys haven't seen it yet, they made it so that you have to be almost point blank to get that thing to do 2 hits. So you're forced to use medium spiral arrow now to just get decent damage. Bottom 5, guys. Let's start the controversy now. Bottom 5, I'm putting Ryu in. Oh my god. Guys, this character is so cheeks, dude. It is unreal how bad Ryu is. Any other decent Ryu player can agree with me on how bad this character is, okay? The only people that think Ryu is good are people that don't play this character, okay? I'm telling you. In a game with Unga and forward moving moves that cancel the V-Trigger plus 18, Mr. Fundamentals just doesn't cut it. So they've been giving Ryu like just pages and pages of buffs. But the problem is they never addressed the real issue, and that is his bad matchups. They can buff his fireballs all they want, dude, but this entire game is designed to counter zoners. Ryu even loses to other zoners. He can't get in, dude. Like, all the fun stuff that they gave him on his buffs, he has to open the opponent up. And how is he going to open the opponent up? He literally has to whiff punish, right? Or he has to take risk with dash and jump. But you're not going to wear someone down with just heavy fireballs, even if they buff the damage, dude. He's 1 jump away from being dead. You know what I mean? The range they expect you to use it, his V-triggers suck. The other tools they gave him this season to help him get in is his standing heavy punch, which was already buffed and cancelable anyway, so it's negligible. It means nothing. It has 0 range. The V skill 2 causes a wall bounce. Dude, that V skill 2 is terrible. They did a complete rework for Akuma on his V skill 2. That's what Ryu should have been, a complete rework. The counter doesn't work until halfway through the move, and he moves forward at the beginning. I cannot overstate how outdated this character is. Look at his standing light punch. What justifies that standing light punch range? Seriously, what justifies it? You know, if you think when the game first came out and what other characters there weren't too many characters that had a 3-framer like that. Bison didn't have a 3-framer back then, but now he does. They gave Nash a 3-framer as well. He didn't have one before. So there was some type of justification, but not now. He's fallen behind. I think Guile made the top 3 as well. Guile is still really strong. There's only a certain amount of zoners that make in this game, and Guile is one of them simply because his tool set is so crazy good. And his V-triggers are so strong. He can overcome bad matchups just because he's got so many tools. If you get a good life lead on Guile and you run away from him, the light sonic boom is going to find you, and he's going to get back in. They did do some good nerfs on Guile, but they also did huge nerfs on other characters as well. This might be something you guys disagree with. Ken is greatly moving up now too. I think Ken has always been good. I know the Ken players like to downplay him so much, but we see Ken's in tournaments still. He still can destroy you once he gets to the corner. He is like what Ryu wishes he was. You know what I mean? He's a momentum-based character. V-Trigger 1 looks really cool. I can't wait to see some really good Ken players use this V-Trigger 1 now, where you can fireball, cancel, run. Now he has 2 Unga attempts on you. And that was the biggest weakness with Ken V-Trigger 1. Even if you screw up and you activate and you failed to open them up, you have multiple tries now with the fireball cancel. Once again, just to clarify, I'm not saying Ken is top 10. I'm just saying he's greatly moving up. Rose was really bad. Really bad. I think Topanga put her as like bottom 3. And the biggest reason is because her V-Trigger 2 is such a terrible weakness. And that's the fact you can just take the throw. Her anti-airs were terrible too because they're so range specific. And she doesn't have the good burst damage. She basically, her V-Trigger is basically her win condition. And I think that still holds her back from being greatly moved up. Her V-Triggers are still her main win condition. Lucia is another one that's just moving up. She was so low to begin with. They've changed a lot of this character from what I've seen. The way people played her, they played her as like a zoner. You know what I mean? They go full screen and shoot up the fire shots, and then they do the random slide on you. But now she can like finally push you to the corner, deal good damage, and have really long combos. Urian. Urian's definitely moving down. Dude, one of the biggest nerfs in Street Fighter V history. They removed his invincible reversal. Now, I don't think Urian sucks. I think this character is still really good because Capcom did not go after his biggest tool, which is the Aegis Reflector, right? But the EX Headbutt they gave him, there's some cool tech that I've seen too with Urian where he still does mad damage. Urian is just not as intimidating anymore. So if he gets knocked down, he's in serious trouble against a lot of characters, especially grapplers. Pauline's a really good character, but I don't think she was insane. I think she's another character that's like completely carried by her V-Trigger, and she had really, really good neutral, and one of the best players in the world, Kawano, plays her. That makes this character just look OP. I feel like they went overboard on her because her nerfs are at the same caliber as Cammy and Urian nerfs, but I don't think she was on the level of Cammy and Urian, if you guys understand what I'm saying, because they nerfed her crush counter follow-up on the V-Trigger too. They nerfed her anti-air severely, and they nerfed one of her escape options with the EX Vanity step. Zangief. Zangief, dude, is bottom 5. Come on, bro. I'll tell you guys what the breaking point for Zangief was. When they nerfed Zangief's EX SPD throw invincibility, that was the final nail in the coffin. If you combine that with the V shift, Zangief's just dead, bro. I guess I'm gonna reveal who's in Luke tier. So, drum roll, the character in Luke tier is Luke. I think Luke is in a league of his own. I think he's the best character in the game. Before the balance patch, what? We had a top 3. It was always a Urian and a Cammy. There was a lot of other lists that are like, Luke is beside them. They're on this level, right? Now I feel like it's crystal clear. Luke is the best character in the game. He barely got a scratch on nerfs. Yeah, he got his health nerf, but dude, he still has 1,000 health. And then they didn't nerf the tools themselves. Luke is the best Shoto in the game. He has tools for every situation. In my opinion, he's got the best fireball in the game too. His V-Trigger is amazing. The refill is not as fast, but if he hits you, it builds up like crazy now. Luke can handle any matchup. He's got an amazing 3-framer. His neutral buttons are OD. He has Unga. He has comeback. He has EX reversals. He has everything without a weakness. He's got a run overhead. He's like Akuma and Cage, but without any of the weaknesses. It's really crazy. There's nothing he loses. Yeah, the only thing he doesn't have is a command grab, but he doesn't need it. Ibuki and Mika, these are two characters used to be super top tier, and they greatly fell off because of various nerfs and the V-shift system. Unlike Zangief, they gave them tools back to overcome this. So I feel like both these characters are greatly moving up. Ibuki, her V skill 2, which can be countered by V shift, they made it now that you can hit the caltrops on the floor. Your attack will activate their V shift, and the caltrop will bounce, and they'll land into it, and they're forced to block. So it's literally a tool to counter V shift now. Her V trigger 2 is insane. It's from -4 to +2, and V shift doesn't necessarily counter that. I'll give you an example. Zangief, what they did to help him with V shift is they made it so his heavy kick crush counter can now be comboed into air SPD. So they gave him more damage if you guess right. You notice the difference? The difference is Ibuki doesn't care if you guess right on your V-shift. You still gotta hold that and get mixed up. Zangief still has to guess, and that's why Zangief doesn't move up. It's that simple, man. They didn't address the problem. Same with Ryu. They didn't give him any tools to get in. So Mika's same thing. They gave her a lot more tools now to help her not have to open you up with mix-ups and grabs. So they gave her one of her key normals, crouching medium kick. That's one of her best neutral normals. It's now special cancelable. They made it so she got her Irish whip back, which also puts you to the corner. She combos into it. She doesn't have to guess right. She literally just combos into it. And then on top of that, her V-Trigger 2 got a massive buff where the scaling goes down. And her V-Trigger 2 is so versatile that she can literally just activate it and go ham on you. V-shift or not. If you get hit by that, you'll get destroyed. So Oro's definitely moving up too. Oro's another character that, like, he seems really weak, but his Tengu Stones is so crazy. He can literally hit you once and you can die. It's insane. He does like 80-90% on it. And then they buffed everything else. One of the biggest buffs that Oro got is they allowed his uppercut to be canceling the super, which means he has mad burst outside of Tengu Stones. You guys know that double kick move he has at Tatsu? It now vacuums you in right in front of him. You guys know how absurd Oro's standing medium kick is, dude? That move is +3 on block. It's +3 on block, and it starts up in 6 frames. That move, and he can literally do 4 of them in a row. He can literally just spam medium kick, and you have to hold that every time. And if you get hit by him once, you get vacuumed into him, and you have to guess between another 4 standing medium kicks or a grab. Okay, another character moving down. Dawson. I think Dawson was one of the most downplayed characters in this game. I always hear all these Dawson players say how bad he is, but then they always get the top 8. He's also one of the most frustrating characters to deal with. Now, once again, when I say moving down, I don't think Dawson is low tier, but they nerfed some really key things about him. The standing medium kick spam, and the Gale pressure, and the teleport counter hit state. But at the same time, you know, if we have less players using Cammy, less players using Urien and Colleen, these are some of Dawson's worst matchups, is Cammy, Urien, and Colleen. Since these characters are moving down, you know, that might be some more room for Dawson to move up in the end. You guys take a guess. Who's the next bottom 5 character I'm going to put down? We need somebody to fill up the gap, and I think the best character to do that is Nash. Dude, I think Nash is bottom 5, bro. I think this character is cheeks. The thing is like, this character was so broken in Season 1. They tried to change the philosophy of this character, and I think that's great that they did that, because there's some characters where they didn't change the philosophy, like poor Ryu over here, and you never saw the light of day. So they try to turn Nash into this big rushdown character, but I think his rushdown sucks. He's still a character that moves at a snail's pace. His walk speed sucks, his throw range sucks, his dash sucks now. The sad part is, after years and years of buffs to make his rushdown better, he's still best played as a zoner. That's seriously the best way to play Nash, is you play him like Season 1, you play him like a zoner. To this day, that is the most optimal way to play Nash. How sad is that? Now with Nash, all you're going to be spamming is Soulbot kick. Soulbot kick, Soulbot kick. That is literally the only button you're going to be pressing, and you're going to be zoning, and that is the Nash life. And I feel like we're at a point now where characters that were considered really weak, like, you know, Rose or Oro or whatever, these characters are getting to climb up, and Nash is just being left behind, bro. Bison has slow walk speed, but his pressure is insane. His throw range is the longest in the game, him and Honda. And he has things that overcome everything he does is plus. Nash has to literally spend bar to maintain plus. And now with the V-shift system, he still doesn't even have a reversal, dude. To this day, they tried buffing his with V-Skill 2. They were afraid to even give him an invincible reversal with V-Skill 2. You know, heaven forbid you have to use your V-Skill 2 and do the EX version and spend the bar to have invincibility, for crying out loud. And I still don't think his V-Trigger 2 is that good, especially it being a 3-bar. Guile, he's like the counterpart of this character. Even though he's a charge, dude, Guile has way better normals and movement speed. The guy was insanely fast forward walk speed, right? He's just got a better game than Nash. The sad part is Guile is a better zoner and a better pressure character than Nash. He's better than Nash in every way. And he's got an invincible reversal. So, I don't know what Capcom did with Nash. They just don't like this character anymore. That's all I can say. Alex is moving up. Now, I was really torn between greatly moving up and moving up. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm gonna play this one really safe. He has to do a lot of Unga moves to win. He has to do, like, he has to risk EX stomps. You know, they can be greatly countered if the opponent sees it coming. The V-shift still hurts Alex. And this is just like another easy one, is Akira. Definitely not greatly moving up. But Akira, not too many people are talking about how crazy her V-Trigger 2 buff is. That V-Trigger 2 buff is really good. It went from one of the worst V-Triggers in the game. And now she can, like, combo into her launcher without having to do whiff punishing or crush counters. Her launcher is insane. If she lands this on you, she does so much damage and corner carry and gets a lot of meter. And they gave her an Unga into her V-Trigger 2 as well. She can do EX elbow, activate V-Trigger 2, and if you get opened up, she's gonna get mad damage. I think Balrog's still a really good character. One of the things that made him like top 5 among a lot of players was his V-Skill 2 was broken. It was absurdly broken. And they also absurdly nerfed his V-Skill 2, and Tap got hit in the crossfire. I think that definitely hurt him on what made him super OP, but Balrog would still smash a lot of the characters. And they gave him that buff for that standing mean punch, which was really good. Another bottom 5 character. Let's put in Jimmy. So this patch, they gave him a 4-frame punish, which is really good. He has like the same weaknesses that like Ryu does, you know, or Zangief. It's like Blanka has to take risk every time he goes in. His entire neutral consists of just doing random rainbow balls. The way he opens you up is the same way Ryu has to open you up. It's like he has to wait for you to make a mistake and whiff punish you, right? Or do a risky jump or dash. A lot of characters can shut down Blanka completely if they can punish his ball. But if you really think about it, like, Blanka's win condition is his V-Trigger. Like, he doesn't have the raw sticking power that a lot of these characters do. And his neutral is just an absolute mess because he's just like a tricky character. And guys, trust me, Blanka is one of my best characters. I was watching Punk's tier list on Blanka. I think Punk put him at like the very bottom. But I remember Punk saying like, what does this character do? And when I thought about that, and I'm like, that's a good point. What does this character do? His entire neutral is just doing random moves and hoping he gets in. I don't want to put this character bottom 5, but I think he is. And I think that's Dan. And I'll be straight with you guys. If there's the best bottom 5 character, it's Dan, bro. Dan is better than all these other joke characters. But the problem with Dan is he has an intentional design of weakness. This is one of the most well-designed characters in the game. I love Dan. But they want him to be a show-off character. The problem with Dan is that he will guarantee the opponent will get V-Trigger fast. When you're using V-Skill 2 Dan, you're canceling all those buttons and you're doing all that. You're giving the opponent V-Gauge with that. That's why he's a show-off character. And on top of that, Dan does it's severely low stun, and it's on purpose. So he has such a hard time closing out the round. You'll feel like if you guys have ever played Dan and you got good with him, you'll feel like you kind of just run out of gas when you get to near the end of the match. And you just run out of bar and you just can't close it because you're just not doing any near the damage of these other characters do. Our last top 3 here. This is the grand finale. Yeah, it's definitely Poison. Easily. She kind of holds this game together, if you think about it. She's the one character keeping the balance of this game in check. Because without Poison, there are so many characters that if they weren't getting zoned out, they would easily climb up. You know, it's funny too, when Poison came out, me and Sonic did a video on her when it first came out, and we thought she was terrible. We thought she was bottom 5. And boy, were we wrong about that. You know, and look where she ends up now. So it's really cool seeing, I love seeing a character that, like, on the surface level, we think we know where they are already, and then you find out tech, you find how to play them optimally, and it just rises to the top. It's kind of like how Nash in Season 1, how Capcom had no idea the potential of how this character could be played. Poison's another one of those characters, and I wish we had more characters like that in this game. So, just to clarify, if there's a particular character that you guys haven't seen me move around, the short summary is I just feel like these characters are generally still where they are. I don't think these characters are bad. I just feel like where they were in the season before is generally where they're going to be this season. I'd like to know you guys' thoughts on this. If there's any of these categories you disagree with or tweaked in any way, or if there's any character I didn't mention that I should have mentioned that definitely got drastic changes that they're gonna move up, I would like to know. And of course, we'll revisit this back someday, and when we see, like, you know, the tier list after some tournaments have taken place, you know, do another tier list in the future. Especially Ibuki, Mika, and Ken and Cage. These 4 characters I would really like to see.